SmashFactor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to episode 84 of the SmashFactor, the 2019-2020 Safeway Open. A beautiful 100-degree fall day here in San Antonio. I'm Gup with my partner in crime, Nagel. How are you doing tonight? At Nagel Bagels, how are you?
What's up, Gup? How are you? Yeah, it only got up to 90 here in Jersey today, so I understand the hot weather. I'm great. How you doing? I'm
doing good, I'll get into it in a minute. It actually looks like it's going to be 99 in Napa on Wednesday and then 70 by Sunday. So it looks like a little heat wave across America, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
You know, very, very interesting week last week. We'll get into that in just a second. I researching last night, kind of getting ready for this tournament. I don't remember if the field was as strong last year. I went back and looked at some of it, but I could go 40, 50 deep here and feel really good about a lot of players. So I'm excited to get into it. We're going to be fast-paced, action-packed. It's kind of our fall swing mentality. Nagels, you have any feedback from last week? DFS betting? I don't know. I know you're taking it light on the fall swing, but how was your week?
Well, I know you were very happy with Munoz and making that putt on 18. I kind of wanted him to maybe lip that one out because I had Sanjay. But we talked about both those guys last week. And for them both to end up in the playoff, I thought that was a pretty good start for us. You and me together, finishing 1-2 basically. So it wasn't bad. We had Munez. We talked about him in the roundtable a little bit.
Yeah.
It was one of my top three guys.
Yeah, I had Sungjae in my doubles. Obviously, Casey. Wallace was first round leader over in Euro, but he kind of fell off after that and didn't do much. Casey was there late third round and took that, I think, double, hit in the water, went left, kind of put him out of it. I was glad to see our boy Feinberg get the Willett victory, and I think he snap reaction posted that either last Sunday night or Monday morning and kind of even joked about it. It was just a gut pick. So, yeah, I liked him. I didn't want to lay the number, but I did like him last week. He was in the doubles. Obviously, if we could have got that, that would have been awesome. Munoz, I'll be honest, just kind of looking at his character and on the course, I didn't think he was going to close it. I was actually hoping, because Ortiz has been there a little more, that he was going to be the one coming down, because I felt like his, the stones would have been a little better, but he didn't hit it as well. Munoz hung in there. No one really charged and took away with it, except for Sungjae. I think he came 6-7 under on the final round. Mm-hmm. So great tournament overall. The putt on 18 was huge. I didn't know if he was going to make it. When he hit it, I was in slack, obviously, and I thought it was dead nuts, perfect, because I wanted him to leave it short, have a straight uphill putt, pretty much. But I thought it was about an 8-footer, and then once he got up there and marked it, I was like, that was more like a 14, 15-footer. So that was a great putt, and then Sungjae's old blood pressure spiked on his approach shot on the playoff hole. And if the grandstands wouldn't have been there, that ball would have been about 80 yards past. I mean, that thing was flying hot. Which I like Sungjae.
He still should have saved par though. That was a bad miss. To save par and extend the playoff.
He got a horrible eye after he stomped on the ground forever. I mean, I don't know what he was doing. He was kind of doing like the cha-cha-cha up there, but he didn't get a good drop. And so if he would have, I think he could have. Because you got to remember, Munoz's putt was uphill. That's all downhill, quick on that down Bermuda Grand. It's tough to land that perfect and get it to stop, but he should have made the putt. Like he actually did the chip pretty good, and then just dead pulled the putt left. I mean, that putt was makeable, much more than what Munoz's was to force the playoff. The nerve showed up there. It just had to, and he's going to win. I mean, I think we all know he's going to win at some point. He plays, 90 times a year, so he's got a good chance.
He doesn't take a lot of time off. That's for sure.
Yeah, for me, obviously Munoz won. Get the year out started right. Matchups were up and down all week. I had a good day, then I went 0-3, then I had a good day, and then it was back and forth. I think I lost a little bit there. Obviously, net profit on the week overall with Munoz hitting 66-1. I posted my recap this morning with all the details. DFS was kind of weird. We'll get into it a little bit later on strategy in this T65. I've changed some opinion a little bit, but not as much as you may think. I lost about 15%, and mainly because round 4, I felt like I hit the core enough, and I had a lot of great, which I'm sure most everybody can say, 5 of 6s, 4 of 6s. I had one that had Munoz, M, Strillman. I mean, it was all there, and it either had Trahan or Connors, one of those guys that might, 1 back, 2 back from the cut line that hurt, but I felt I had a grasp of the tournament. So I went a little heavier on round 4 than I planned on, and I 3x'd it. So it brought back all my money except for just a little bit on the full week. So I was happy with that. Typical fall swing. I mean, I had a solid core, solid player pool. I trusted most everything I saw. Just had a few misses, and yeah, the -2 cut line that would have been a T, MDF with 83 guys hurt me, but I actually like it, and I'll get into a little bit when we get the contest. I don't hate the way it is right now. I prefer, even though it probably cost me a little bit, I'd rather have it this way the rest of the year than not. I like it. I hate the MDF on Saturdays, not only because of the main tournament, but it screws with the weekend slates when you're trying to do that. I just like a clean cut, no pun intended, on Friday nights for the most part. And I think this one technically was Saturday morning because of the rain or whatever. Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts on that before we wrap up and head to the Safeway Open?
No, man. I love this field this week. So, yeah, let's get to it.
So our listener league winner was P. Hughes 4421. If you're listening or in the Slack, you get the extra prize this week. Reach out to JB and I. We'll get you set up with some credit in the merch coming in handy here in the future. He had Binion, Harmon, Champ, Munoz, Long, and Brown. So really, 6 of 6 is solid. He smoked me. I thought the long play was pretty, I thought that was good. And then Scott Brown, probably, I have this on a screenshot, so I can't see the ownership, but a fairly low play in that kind of field and great calls there mixed in with some of the chalk. That was, back to last week, we talked about you can play the chalk. This even goes with the NFL. We talked about it a lot last week. You just have to you're in such a unique field, but there's so many options to pivot to because you have a lot of young, new players to the field that you can load up on. Don't be afraid to load up on chalk. Just make sure you're not chalk everywhere. It's kind of like playing chalky running backs, but then you can't go chalky low wide receivers with those guys because you're not really differentiating yourself anywhere. So good lineup for him overall. Quickly to our sponsors and affiliates. As always, our original sponsor, our originally affiliate, Fantasy National Golf Club. All these links are on the website. You can go click it. Click the link directly. You get 20% off your subscription to there. Now's the time to get in for the fall swing, get an annual, and it gets you all the way through the entire 2020 season, which is probably the best thing to do, but you can try it out for a week if you want. Same with FanShare Sports. Link is on the site. Use the code GUP. You get the pro advantage, the in-depth buzz report, tags. They go way hardcore on the ownership. Obviously, I post mine, but it's a very raw, just, direct. It is what it is. Theirs goes in depth with tons of leverage and trends and stuff like that. There's great information if you're wanting to deep dive on ownership, as well as they've added some good content for their site as well. You can go check them out weekly, monthly, or annuals as well. As always, important to us, rate and review us on iTunes, Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitch. As I mentioned last week, we'll be doing a draw here shortly after we make a couple announcements in October. And in that draw, we will do, I guarantee one of the winners will be a person that's reviewed us on iTunes, as well as we take the other platforms and get one in. But one of the winner pools will always come from someone who's rated and reviewed us on iTunes. Last week, this is the last week to help our buddy ALS Warrior out. We put a 6 shirt up for sale either last week or the week before. All the profits go to support his cause. He's obviously fighting ALS. Orders end 1 week from today, if I'm not mistaken. JB can correct me if not, but I think it's September 30th at midnight. We'll shut them off. It's a pre-sale, so if you order them, don't don't feel like you didn't get your shirt quickly. We're going to end it next Monday. Then JB will get them ordered. We'll get them in probably in 2 weeks and then ship them out. So give us 2 or 3 weeks on that. Great cause. Always help him out. He's inspirational. He's in the chat nonstop as much as he can be. He actually went on a little vacation, and bad timing that the only person he told was me. And I was in a 9-hour corporate meeting, all in and out all day. And when I got out, it was like, I can guarantee you, if he ever goes off the face of the earth, we will hunt him down, because there was like 30 people searching for his high school girlfriends and researching him, trying to find out to make sure he was still pumping, and which was cool to see. It was kind of emotional actually to see all the support, people trying to track him down. But he was out with his fire buddies playing some golf. He wasn't really playing on much, but he did get the putt on 18. He sunk it. He was telling me about it, but he told me about it, but I couldn't answer anything. I wasn't watching my phone. I was in meetings, and so he's learned to tell at least JB or someone else as a backup. But good stuff there. Go check out the shirt. It was well done by a member in the of Gups Corner. Chris did a great job on it. Right now, you can join Gups Corner. Use the code GCFFG for 15% off any package, tools, or content and analysis. If you buy the content and analysis package right now, you get free access to our golf tools preview that we are doing. We started last Thursday with the live. We will continue rolling out stuff over the next for free. So it's a good time to get in there and check that out. If you want to add on the football package, football tools package, you can use that code for 15% off as well if you're already a current member. A little side hint, if you listened to my pod last night, there's a special promo in there. I won't go into details, but if you want to check that out for 20 minutes, it may save you a little bit of money. With that, we're going to roll right into the Safeway Open at Silverado Resort and Spa in Napa. As always, Kenny Kim's got our course preview on lockdown. He'll be posting that early evening tonight. Listen to their podcast for his in-depth thoughts on the course. We are shortening that section of our pod right now because we have other stuff that I can give help on. This one, it's just not worth it when we already have it everywhere else. But quickly, it's a par 72, 7,203 yards. Short for most par 72s. It's a Robert Trent Jones design. Johnny Miller bought into it in 2010 and helped with some of the enhancements that you see today. Very narrow fairways overall. POA mixed greens. POA, but not quite the POA you'll see in early spring, but it's still POA if you're looking at some putting splits. Approaching to the greens are difficult, but not like terrible, but you can miss these greens. So I will favor a little bit of up and down, mainly because I want guys that can save bogey. So it's going to take 3 or 4 under each round to be in the hunt, but you don't want to pop off a double or something because you can't get up and down. -1 or so, probably -2 or 3 is my prediction on the cut with the T65 rule. A little smaller field this week, 140 guys. So a little bit better odds than we have had in the last 2 weeks. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the weather concerns, like I said, the practice days right now are like 93, 95, and 99, which is just absurd for that area of California. Those people are probably dying. They're not used to that kind of weather. That's a little cool down for me right now. But by Sunday, it transitions. Like after Wednesday, I think the high is 80, and then it's like 78, 77, 70, like normal California weather. So not that matters, but just kind of, it's just something to think about. You will have chillier mornings than what these guys have been playing in. That only affects a little bit of kind of ball flight, not flight, but distance, because a little bit cooler. You'll have mid to low 50s to start out, and then it'll warm up to a nice 70. No weather concerns at this point as far as rain or any of that. So Nagel's on the, I know you're getting back into the grind last week. It's a 140-man field. The T65 and ties, is it a thing? Is it not? Are the big fields misleading us? Last week, if I remember, it would have been -2. And if I remember right, it would have been 83 guys that would have made it in, and then they would have had a recut on Saturday, and then you probably still would have had about the same amount that you wind up having Sunday. So really all it brings in is another round for some guys, and then it gives hope to some guy that shot -2 that he can go 8 under on the tournament and sneak in a great round as far as DFS guys are concerned. And so there's a lot of, I don't want to say bitching and complaining, but there's a lot of, man, if it was -2, my guy would have made it, blah, blah, blah. we're all playing by the same rules, so I really don't care about that kind of stuff. But I asked it last week. We only had 1 week of data. I still think 2 weeks is too small, especially because you had two of the bigger fields out there. I personally am not adjusting much this week. The one thing I kind of took notes on was that I felt if you think it's a thing, you can maybe take one more risk or bullet type approach, especially if you're doing an MME, it really doesn't matter. If you're doing 20 plus lineups, the same thing is going to be the same thing. But if you're in that 1 to 3 lineup deal and you're trying to figure out, okay, is it worth playing this guy or that guy? If you feel that 6-6 isn't as important, although I would argue that 5% 6-6 is still a big leverage on the field to get the 6-6. So I don't know. I hadn't figured out yet how it would change your strategy, but it obviously is somewhat of a thing. What are your thoughts on that, if anything?
Okay. Well, that is way too in the weeds for me. I don't. Was there anybody that missed the cut last week that would have made the cut if it was still T70? Has that happened yet?
No, that both weeks it has. So last week there'd have been about, I don't know the exact number, 12 to 14 guys at least that would have made the MDF. It would have been an MDF last week, so they would have had to recut Saturday like they used to do. So there's no clue of how many number of guys would have made it to Sunday, but like Trahan, for me, there were several guys at -2, several high-owned guys at -2 that would have made it to Saturday at least, yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, but those guys didn't play particularly well. So it's like you said, you have to adapt and overcome and pick better players. Pick guys that are going to and hope that they play better because everybody's playing under the same rules. And I would never. You caught me by surprise with that question last week. That's not even something that's on my radar. Whether the cuts T65 or T70, or if it's a no cut event, I'm trying to get into the top 10, into the top 20. If they're hovering around the cut line, then I didn't pick a good enough player. That's the way I look at it.
I haven't wrapped my brain around it because we got football going on, so my quiet time goes to football and vice versa. But
okay.
I don't know if because I'm trying to think. My gut says, well, even if it is a factor, I don't know how I would plan. I don't know how I would strategize or plan any differently because I'm still trying to get 6-6. It's not like I pick some guys going, 5-6 is going to work. Like that's not the point. I don't know if it means widening your player pool because you have less chance. I mean, that could be a thing in the MME. So if I used to have, say I'm doing 40 lineups and I would do 25 guys to 30 guys, does it mean, hey, because of that oddness at T65, you may be better doing 35 guys, 37 guys, to bring a few guys into your pool just to have a better chance at 6-6. That could be a thing. I don't know. People ask me, and my comment now and for the entire fall swing is going to be, I won't have a strategy or anything comment until I get some more data and can analyze it, especially over like Christmas break and kind of think of where can this give advantage, where can it not. I still maintain that in the bigger fields, what I mean bigger, the stronger fields like the Masters or something like, or the Players Championship in March, where your 6,000 guys are guys that are like 8,000 right now. You may be able to balance out your lineup a little more and just shoot for that 6-6. But it's still going to take some time for me to comment on it. I didn't know if you had any gut reaction. I think we're on the same page there. Pot size contests, from what I've seen, I glanced at them. They look about the same as they've been. I don't think we're going to get anything special in the fall for golf. There's just too much dominance with football going on. College football's picking up a little bit. Basketball will be starting. I mean, I think we're just kind of stuck what it is. And they're not terrible. They're a little tick up from last year. So we just kind of take what it is until we get to January. Straight to the good stuff. What kind of stats are you looking at this week for the Safeway Open?
Okay. Well, I'm not how can I say this? I'm not a big, I don't like to commit myself to one particular stat model, so to say. I think when you're looking at the past winners of this event, you got your Brendan Steeles, you got your Kevin Chway, that might lead you to believe that you're going to need to have some distance. But then you should remember that Ryan Moore and Brad Snedeker were in a playoff which way last week, and that distance may not necessarily be a factor. I think you have to hit it straight, and I think the California Poana is going to be something that I'm going to be thinking about when I'm looking at certain guys. And we're going to get to some of these guys. But the West Coast, the California golfers, but have some semblance of ball striking and accuracy, and it's not just a bomb and gouge type of place, which you may think Kevin Tway, Brendan Steele, but even Steele a couple years ago when he was good, he did hit it pretty straight. So I think that's find the guys that can hit it straight, and you're off to a good start this week.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, obviously I'm looking at approach, ball striking. Those are staples. Like I mentioned, I'm going to have some rounded green in my model just to take a look at it. I don't think it's the end all be all because you're going to have a minus 15, minus 17 type winner, maybe minus 13, 14 on the low end, which is tough. I mean, like last week, everybody thought it was a birdie fest, but only one guy shot the under 70 bonus, and that was Sung Jae. So for me, I get the final number, but it's just like fucking football. Oh, sorry, I can't go. It's just like football today. Like we now pass for 400 yards, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. You know, there's 80 plays here, 70. It's the new age of football. Same with golf. These guys are better because they're better athletes than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. No different than, you know, I heard an argument the other day, or not argument, but a good example the other day of, I think it was on Will Brunson's show about, you know, how would some of the running backs from the 80s do today, and you kind of look at their mold and their size, and it would be, you know, like a Walter Payton. He'd look like a tiny guy out there, although he was a beast back in the day. It's no different here. So I let's get through the birdie fest type. It's golf, right? Everybody's playing on the same deal, but I felt last week was challenging because the thing I like about, yes, I like the 7-8 under courses. I like defense in football, which I think we may get to see that tonight, or just bad offense. Either way you want to look at it. Well, in golf, I like challenges. So when you only have one guy shoot 3 under or better every single round, one out of the entire field, to me, 1 out of 153, that's pretty good, because you saw a lot of birdies, and then you'd see especially if you're watching Doc, God bless us, we have a roller coaster ride every week. You know, it's like birdie, par, birdie, bogey, triple bogey, birdie, birdie. I mean, up and down, which means it wasn't just a crazy taken for everybody, but you're going to see the low rounds, which some guys don't like. I'm in the middle of it all. So I think this will challenge in spots, especially when you're trying to get your cut maker. So you got to get -2, -3 this week. Around the greens and reg are going to be important. This course has a high 3-putt variance, mostly because I think it's the first time many of these have seen POA ever coming off the Corn Ferry or Webb back in the day. And then also we haven't seen POA. These guys haven't seen POA in forever. So it's kind of a adjustment. And so I think they 3-putt a lot. I do think off the tee is important. Hitting fairways is important. That's kind of been proven. And I'm going to take a look at bogey avoidance just because I want guys that are going to continuously par and then take their birdies when they come. So it's kind of an all-around blend. And like you said, you look at the leaderboard the last 5-6 years, there's not, similar to last week, there's not like a standout model of this kind of guy is winning. I think anybody all-around game who's on can win at any given time. Why don't you lead us off? If you're new, we do the Dirty Dozen. We have 4 tiers here. We stick to 3 picks only per tier. And then the last tier is 3 picks, flop, fade, and sleeper. And then we'll have a round table at the end to hit up all the guys that we kind of had our eye on that we might not get to mention before we go to the betting segment. Nagels, hit us off with 9K and above. Give us 3 guys you're on this week. Okay.
I love this field. I love that there's, 5, 6 really good players. I kind of think that that's going to throw off. It might throw off some guys that we normally would be on in the top of the range. I'm gonna, I'll get to that. The first guy I like is I'm probably gonna play Adam Scott at 10-7. I think that a lot of the ownership might go to Cantlay. I think you're going to hear a lot of narrative about him being from California. And if you're going to choose between Patrick Cantlay and Adam Scott, most people might lean Cantlay here. He's won in the swing season before. Adam Scott doesn't normally win. That you want to have some win equity. And because of that, I kind of think Adam Scott is going to be a solid play underneath him. I'm not sure what the ownership is going to be yet, but his last 3 events, he's got a 5th, a 9th, and a 5th. He finished 2nd at Torrey Pines last year. I know I don't have it in front of me, but I think has a pretty good record at Riviera. And one of the things they always say about the Poa annua surface and putting is that it kind of neutralizes. And Adam Scott has that reputation for not being the best putter in the world. And he played well at those golf courses in California. And I like Adam Scott a lot there. Last week we talked about Brandt Snedeker, and we couldn't figure out. Well, I couldn't figure out why he was even playing. This Anderson, my buddy Artie sent me the press conference. Golf. I love a golf press conference. It's 7-8 minutes of just I can watch. I got to get myself into a PGA press room at some point, because to hear him talk about how you're going to see more of these bigger name players playing in the fall to get off to a good start to the season because of the schedule change. I think that has a lot to do with the schedule change, and next year is an Olympic year. And I watched that press conference and I was all in on Snedeker. I thought he might win last week. He wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. It was his first event of the year. He finished the year playing 6 straight events, then took a couple weeks off. But he was second here last year, and I think because he was kind of disappointing last week, I think he finished like 35th or something. At 9,600, I think he's going to be he'll be a little bit under the radar. I don't know how popular he'll be. And he's a Poa annua guy. He's a California guy. He plays well at Pebble Beach every year, and or Torrey Pines. And I like Snedeker a lot there. And I'm going to go back to Sung Jae at 10-1. Only because of his price, and again because of all the other guys that are in the field that are there. You got your Bryson, you Cantlay. I think he might be. He was 4th here last year. He was 2nd last week. He's playing great. He's in great form, and I don't see any reason why you shouldn't take a look at Sung Jae at 10-1. So I'm looking at those guys.
Yeah, I think overall there's a big my belief that predicting the industry will be: do you want to trust the guys that have been on a layoff? Hideki, JT, Cantley, these guys, Adam Scott, another one, who all haven't played basically since the Tour Championship. Maybe have played over in Europe. I don't think any of those guys have. Bryson, he played the Greenbrier, missed the cut. I think he'll be massively underowned. That could be a risk. So there's leverage plays this week to go, all right, do I want to play these guys that are playing somewhere where they normally don't, the same reason I said last week. I think it's, for Snedeker, this is time to get some points, start getting rhythm, get their game up for the WGC where they can get a lot of points. I just think overall that's the call this week is, do you want to go up? Because there's a lot of guys we'll rattle them off here, in the 8, 9, 10s that people could play, and you can't play them all. You're still going to have to go down. My gut instinct is people are going to try to go balanced and just fade a lot of the higher end guys that haven't played in a while with a little bit of rust. The bad thing is that some of these guys have great course history when they have played here. Matsu has a 3rd and a 17th. JT has an 8th and a 3rd with a missed cut. Cantley got 17th last year. Snedeker got 2nd. Sung Jae, like you just said, got 4th. He has played, and I don't know if he'll ever not play, but I think he may be a tad popular because he was kind of came down at the end. In a sharper field, lower entry, I think he'll be higher owned than he would say the $8, where you may have a little bit more fish in the water type of deal, public play. But the DFS industry guys know Sung Jae by now, so definitely worth the play. I like Cantley, 11-2, $400 discount from JT. Played this last year, finished the year strong. Stats are strong. He as well, who struggles putting at times, loves Poa. He's 17th in my model. He is green screens across. His worst deal in every major category is 18th. Worst. So I'll probably be all in on Cantley. Big fear there is just rust for him. Can he shake and get through the cut, kind of finish strong? It's a lot of price to pay up. So in a single bullet, I don't know if I'm going there yet, but he's definitely on my radar. Hideki, that's a brand play for me. I like him. Similar like you talked about with the putting. I think with Scott, it neutralizes some of his weaknesses in putting. I worry a little bit about a guy that's so mechanical in his swing. How does he come in? He hasn't played this since 2016, but he finished very strong in the PGA year. Could be worth a risk. 10-5 is a discount in this kind of field. I can't wait to hear what my boy Tambo says about him. I don't know if this is a field where he says that's good or bad, so I always look forward to that. Ryan Moore is the last one, 9,100.
Ooh, all right.
A top 10, a top 17, a T2, his last here. Played at the BMW Northern Trust. He's a guy that I don't think has to be in rhythm per se because he hits it so damn straight and consistent. I don't think he's going to get in trouble. He doesn't have to be long, which gives him a benefit here. He's going to put the ball in play. He's going to hit greens, and can he make putts? He's one of my top in the putt splits as well. He likes POA. So Ryan Moore's kind of right there at the bottom of the range. And I have others that will get on the round table. Reevy's one that's right there on the bubble. I love Reevy this week. He's top 3 in POA splits. He's a West Coast guy. He loves this stuff. This is his 6th straight year playing this course. So even when he's done well, he always makes an attempt to play here, which shows something to me because he hasn't always had to play here in the fall. So I'll have some Reevy, but I just had to cut one. So he was my cut, but I'll get to him in the round table. I'll lead off the second tier, kind of pick up the pace a little bit, 7,600 to 8,900. My number one play is Griot. Played him last week. Made the cut, top 39, did okay. This is 5th time playing this. He won this in 2016, 4 straight made cuts, which surprises me because he just doesn't putt well at all. So I just kind of ignore the putting. And top 10 in approach, top 5 in a ball striking, top 12 in greens, top 15 in my driving blend, top 5 stats overall. Just 8,800, too cheap for him this week. I'm all over Griot. Harris English was on him last week, was in my top lineup. He's played it 4 out of 5 years, 2 missed cuts, top 35. He's finished a lot. I love his form. So he's coming in hot. He is my number 1 ranked player in my rolling putting model in POA. So his stats aren't great. He's about average for the field overall. If you're playing him, you're playing form. Top 3 and a top 6, the last 2 tournaments, Greenbrier and Sanderson Farm. He's got experience here. I think he's hot. He's hitting the ball well. You just got to ride it if you're going to play him. Last but not least, as always, brand play. I've already bet it, 66 to 1, HV3. I said it 6 weeks ago. HV3 is going to win his first tournament on the fall swing, and I think it could be this week. 7,800 is atrocious pricing for him. He's played this tournament 5 straight years. He's made the cut every year. His worst finish is a 59th. He's got a 14th, a 15th. He's made a cut his last 4 tournaments on PGA Tour this year. Great form, great course history. Not the greatest stats that pop off, but this kind of course fits his game. He's good off the tee. He doesn't have to be long. He'll put it in play. He'll throw it on the green. And when he gets hot if he gets hot with the putter, he'll contend on Sunday. So I like HV3. Who do you got?
All right. I know that's your guy. I did one of my guys was Emiliano Grillo. I think because I don't know if people are going to consider 39th last week kind of disappointing. Maybe people are going to be off him right around that range with the other guys around him. I think will be I don't know how popular he'll be, but I like that Grillo call. Surprising to mention Bronson Burgoon at 8,000. The guy has a 17th place finish here recently for the last couple of years. And his last 4 tournaments, 6th, 9th, 5th, and 19th. He played great in the Korn Ferry Finals, got his card, and he's kept his good form, and he hits it long enough. And if you're going to go for the Kevin Chway, Brendan Steele type, Bronson Burgoon, I think, kind of fits that mold. And the person I love, my guy, brand play for me, is Bud Cauley at 7,800. He was 14th at the Greenbrier. He had to withdraw from the Wyndham at the end of the year, and he didn't make it into the playoffs. He has a 7th place finish at the Safeway in 2017. And I remember very well that he played well at Torrey last year. I had him there. And I'm just going with he's going to He's just going to ball strike his way around the course. I think he's going to be way underowned, and I like Bud Cauley a lot at 7,800. So Cauley, Grillo, and Burgoon.
Yeah, Cauley was on my roundtable talk, and so was Burgoon. Burgoon was just I'm so strong on those three. The Grillo and Burgoon played great last week. Similar to Doc, would catch fire and then double. I mean, he'd be like 600 and then double. And I was like, damn it, Burgoon. But finished strong Sunday. I mean, had him head to head against Strillman. He shoots 7 under and loses. I was like, wow, I don't know if I've ever had a guy shoot 7 under and lose his head to head matchup.
You love Strillman.
I do. I mean, I had him, but going into that round, Strillman was all putter the whole week. And I was like, well, Burgoon's just been no putter. So I was like, if he can just be average, I'll take the chance that his putter ticks up a little bit and Strillman's ticks back. Well, hell, they shoot 15 under. I think they shot like a 58 best ball or some shit. I mean, it was ridiculous because they played together. Obviously, they were head to head. But
sometimes I see these guys at the top of the leaderboard that I hear you talk about, and I have no idea how you even had that guy on your radar, like a Kevin Streelman or the Carlos Ortiz. I mean, these guys come out of nowhere, and I don't know. You have strong powers, Gus. You have strong powers.
Ortiz, my boy. I'll be back. He's about to come up here next. 7,500 or less. I think Jim Furyk's massively underpriced as well. Furyk and HV3 to me are just, I don't get it. 100 to 1 for Furyk. Like, I mean, this is an old man veteran course. Like, this is where you just show up and you just fucking hit greens fairways and greens all day. And that's his game, right? Like, all he's got to do, and he's a pretty good putter on Poe. He's got history. He he played Northern Trust and BMW, so he's taking a little rest as well, which he needed. He played a lot this year, a lot more than he has.
He's old.
He is number 1 in my stat model overall. And this course just describes him, right? Just easygoing, consistent. At 7,400, all I need him to do is make a cut. And if he don't make this cut, I've misjudged that by a mile. Love Furyk this week. I'm on him. Him and H3 could be a core for me for sure in the 7,000s. This next one, I know the Slack I'll hear some chatter later. Everybody's up and down on him, but I'm going back to Doc. He's turning into I think he may be my Luke List. Like, he stat wise, he can hit the ball. Like, he is a ball striking fool. He's number 7 in approach, 4 in ball striking, 3 in stats overall, 6 in my rolling stats. So that's over 100 rounds. He can't putt to save a lick. Like, I'm talking brutal putting last week. I mean, it'd be like 6 foot, and I'm praying he don't 3-putt. And sometimes he did. That's how bad it was. But he finished strong Sunday again. You know, I don't know. He didn't really have pressure, but didn't putt excellent Sunday, but good enough. I think he shot 4 or 5 under to finish, T52, decent finish. I like him. I think he's going to pop somewhere. And again, the pricing's just there. 7,200, I'll take him. And last, we just talked about it earlier, was Ortiz. I'm going back there. Like his form. Obviously, he was there in the hunt. Last 2 pairs. Sunday, 7,500, a little bit of a price uptick. T4 last year. I do like he's played this course 3 times, 15, 16, and last year. He's made the cut every time. His putting splits on POA favor him. Top third of the field, top 4th of the field, top 25%. Sorry. So I do like Ortiz as well to round up my 7,500 or less. What about you?
All right. Now, I don't know how popular these guys are going to be, or even any of the guys that I've mentioned so far. That's just part of my process. I like to, figure that out as the week goes on, and then we go from there. First guy I looked at that I think is interesting is Lanto Griffin at 7,400. He's a great form. 11th, the 13th, and the 7th in his last 3 starts. I got to be honest, I don't know a lot about him, but if he's the type of iron player that it seems that he is, based on where he's been playing, where he's been finishing, he fits that mold, and he's definitely in good form. But again, I don't know how popular he'll be. Everyone's going to notice that he's 11th, 13th, and 7th in his last 3. So you either ride the hot hand or you don't. I'm going back to Robbie Shelton at 7,100. He was 7th at the Greenbrier. And I think he wasn't terrible last week. I think he ended up finishing like maybe 26, 27, something like that. He was up and down, 67, 71, 68, 70. But I think if he's going to be a guy that's off the radar, he's going to be on my radar. And I'm definitely going back to Siwoo Kim at 7,100. He was just bad on the weekend. He started off okay. He was in the mix, and I think he's just getting right back into the swing of things. And compared to all the other golfers that he's around at 7,100, he is a much better golfer than that. He should be priced in the 8s. So I don't think one bad weekend should put him in the off the radar. I like Siwoo a lot.
Yeah, C was always a hit or miss. I mean, he's either going to be, on in it or like just DFL, as Mayo would say.
Just like me.
I definitely think he can be in play here. Why don't you lead us right back off with, so if you're new, a flop is a player that we think won't return value. So if he's, $8K and we think he's going to not make the cut, that's not returning value. So it's not necessarily a high price guy. It could be, doesn't matter. Fade is a guy we're fading because of perceived ownership, perceived great course history, great recent form, whatever. No price barrier there. Obviously, it's Monday night, so that could change by the time we get to Wednesday. That's why it's important to be a part of the membership and get into the private Slack. The private Slack and our private live chat Wednesday night. And then the sleepers, anybody over 6,900 not already mentioned. Lead us off with your flop, fade, and sleeper, Nagels.
All right, my flop. I'm gonna name Bryson at 9,900. I could regret that because he may have gone into the lab and he might come out ready to go. He wasn't great at the Greenbrier, right? He missed the cut there. He wasn't great he's seemed to be out of sorts for a long time. And before I put Bryson back on my radar, I want to see him play like he's capable of. It doesn't seem like he's done that in quite some time. My fave is going to be Cantlay, which also might be something that I regret. He could easily win this tournament, but I think that's what he's going to have to do at 11,200. I know you like him. I went with Adam Scott instead. And for my sleeper, I wanted to play this guy last week, but he wasn't in the field. I'm going to take Bo Hostler. I like the way I don't know if you saw those tweets that he put out at the end of the year after he lost his card. He said, I'm going to go back to the Korn Ferry Tour. And he went and he finished second and he's got his card back right away. I think I should double check this, but I think that in his first tournament, whether I think was at the Greenbrier, he had 3 decent rounds, but then shot like 78 on Sunday. That put him way down at the bottom of the leaderboard. I think at 6,800, he could be a sneaky good play this week. He's my sleeper, Bo Hostler. Good player.
Yeah, he finished 67th that week. He did play well going into it. You're correct there.
Here we go.
I think I may have the next Doc Redman call of the year tonight for my sleeper. So
here we go.
That's why I'm excited. I've cussed a couple times, and as people have listened to my pod last night, I'm on day 9 of my third phase of my cut in my 1-year journey to drop a ton of weight. So I'm 9 days without alcohol. I'm doing another 30-day cut. Like I did a 60-day cut when I started back in November. I'm down 65 pounds, and in this cut, I'm hoping to drop another 15 or 20.
Excellent.
So
you look very handsome, by the way.
Clear mind and all that, but fired. I because the fall swing, you kind of get down, and especially with the grind of NFL and college football is so popular and it's beginning popular DFS. I try to tag team with Bobby. Bobby's like Patrick Mahomes. I'm like chumbling in there like like a backup quarterback trying to get a play to help him. He's a stud. He's got it covered. But I do watch enough college football that I can help him out as best I can. But it's 7 days a week right now, and so you get the fall swing. You're like, man, I don't feel like talking about all these guys no one knows about. And I was looking last night, and I was getting a little pumped up. I was like, this is a good tournament. Great players. I think I said it at the end of the year. I really think we're going to see some good players that normally didn't play, and so far we're kind of getting that a little bit. My flop was pretty easy for me. It's Kevin Na. Finished the year with some injury stuff. I think he's got rust. I don't mind him here. I don't want to pay $9K for him. I don't think he gets there.
Okay.
So I won't. I don't. If someone thinks he's going to do really well, I think it could be a super sneaky play. I don't think he'll be under 5%. It's going to be my guess. This is Monday night again, but just because he finished so like if he was in form, this course is a Kevin Na course. So it's very difficult for me to say that, but I don't want to give away like an easy like we were giving away Spieth as a flop every week because it was just kind of easy to do. A 2A, a 2B there if you want to own. Leishman kind of withdrew at the Greenbrier. This course, I don't know. He's just kind of there, but he was my second kind of pick. My fade is because I believe perception, especially West Coast, is going to be popular is CH3. And actually, he does not play this course very well, which surprised me when I saw his name. He does love West Coast. I think he normally loves POA. He does not play this course particularly well. And if he's going to be chalky at 8,100, potential fade spot for me. Finished the season pretty strong. He does putt very well. He's in the top 25% POA for me this week, but I'll take that spot and fade it, assuming he's busy. I mean, assuming he's high ownership. My sleeper, and I'll screw up this last name, but I'm sure I'll have 20 people tweet me and tell me how to say it. But Bo Hoag, kid from Ohio State.
Yes.
$6,400, finished 7th in the Korn Ferry Tour. He won the Winco. I watched that not most of it, a lot of it at the end on Sunday. He's a steady Eddie guy, but for 6,400, you don't need much. He made 21 out of 24 cuts. His only top 10 was that Winco. So he's not like a go super low, but those tournaments are like that. So it kind of tells me maybe a little like either a Morikawa or Hovland tie. Like I don't think he's just going to put the step on the pedal like Wolf or somebody. But watching him during that round, I really liked his ball striking. He had 10 top 25s last year. So just a consistent guy, a guy that's grinded out the McKenzie Tour, He got a partial 2 years ago in the Korn Ferry, turned that into a full last year on the Korn Ferry, and just 21 out of 24 cuts, 10 top 25s, finished the year super strong. I like him here. I think he likes this. He'll like this tournament. I think his game fits it. $6,400, sleeper of the week, Bo Hoag, I think is how you say it. 200-1, free bet of the night. Obviously, I've already bet HV3, but I will put a little change on Mr. Bo. He did finish top 54 last week, made the cut. So I had my eyes on him. I didn't pull the trigger. I liked how he played a little bit last week, made the cut. I'm in. So let's just go back and forth a few guys before we wrap this up with betting. Some guys we didn't talk about. I'll throw out a couple. You can comment, no comment. Give me some of yours. First one was one I just missed, Morikawa. I love him. You know that. I was on him way early. I don't know how he'll bounce back from finally having a break. Like he was just so go. That's my only concern is will he bounce back? I'm going to let ownership dictate me there. I think if he was in that form that he was in when he approached the last 4 or 5 tournaments, a 9,400 in this field would be kind of a steal.
California guy too.
He's a California guy. I'm sure he's familiar with POA. I like him this week. He's right there for me. I will not play a chalky Colin this week. So that's my hiccup there. We already talked about M. Binion, I think guys will go back to. He played great. I don't want to say he's getting a little name for not being able to close, but he hadn't been able to close. He's had a chance, last 6 tournaments, he's had a chance at least at the Wyndham. I was there for a while, and then last week for sure had a chance. Stat-wise, he's there. He's a guy you put in that Adam Scott, Matsuami characteristic of the putting, if it neutralizes, helps him, obviously, which is another point I didn't bring up with Doc. That's why I like Doc this week. I hope maybe Poe is like something he can fall in love with because God knows he doesn't know the other grasses very well on the green right now. But I love you, Doc. I've been on you from day one. You talked about Burgoon. I'm on him. You talked about Snez. DeChambeau is a guy own DChamp. I'm not on him as much. I agree with your assessment, but a 5 to 8% I may throw in if I'm doing the MME build. Kind of a few guys outside of that. Landry, Answer, and then a super sneaky play I found late that I think I like. And I think he could have a really good year. I think he shook off some of the cobwebs last year, finished decent. He got a top 36 at Greenbrier as Danny Lee. Middle of the pack, probably top 40% in putting, but I do like Danny Lee out here, and that's kind of my guys I had. I don't know if that means you hate him or you like him, but
I normally like him, but I played him like 3 weeks in a row, and he missed a cut on the number 3 straight weeks, like right around the Wyndham and right like the John Deere and the 3M, right in that post major pre-playoff swing.
Right.
But that's an interesting name. We didn't even talk about Justin Thomas. I think a lot of these big guys were Francisco Molinari. Now, Molinari is not playing in the President's Cup, but I think some of these guys, I know Brooks committed to, what was it, Mayakoba, maybe? That these guys, I think we're going to see a lot of these guys just so they can get their reps in before the President's Cup at the end of the year. And, I mean, JT can easily, I mean, he just won the second playoff event a couple of weeks ago. He can place his field easily.
Oh,
so
well, that just goes without saying. I mean, if he is by far the best. All right, he's a head above Cantley, and then probably head and shoulders above everybody else. I do think Cantley's the number 2 talent in the field, but yeah, if he shows up and he's on fire, if I fade him, it's simply because I think he starts slow, and at 11-6, he has the top 3, right? And so the only thing is he winds up being super low owned. If he's super low owned, then I'm down to put him in my mix for sure. I mean, he's by far the elite talent of the field, no doubt.
Yeah, I just think it's funny. We've been talking for so long. We haven't even mentioned his name yet. I think somebody should mention that Justin Thomas is playing, and he's pretty good.
It's a great point. Sometimes especially me, I avoid like it skips over me because it's kind of like a duh. He's good, but people may go, well, does that mean you don't like? You didn't talk about him all, so it's a great point to bring up. But that to me will be he's like Bryson. I want to see where the ownership shakes out Wednesday, and I'll talk about that. You know, if I can get him sneaky low owned, I'm in. If all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, you got to play JT, how stupid would you be not to play him? Well, then I'll be stupid and I'll fade it.
I'm with you there. I just think it's a great field. I think you don't know what you're going to get, obviously, with some of the elite players that are there. You got guys that are going for FedEx Cup points. You got guys that are prepping for just the beginning of the year, staying sharp for the President's Cup. And they're all coming. You got these young guys. Got some people making their first start. It's just a conglomerate, and it's the third weekend of September. I think it's great. I really think this is going to be a pretty good event this week. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think overall, and we'll get into this as the season goes along and we get closer to the winter time. We start doing our prep for the main slate. The depth of the PGA is getting stronger, which only makes the product better. It helps us in our industry because we have there's a lot more eyes that'll gravitate to it year long. And so when you have, a Redmond, we go a whole podcast, talk about Daniel Berger in the fall swing, which he used to be, kind of odd. I mean, that guy's kind of under the light. Ches Reavie barely gets, and there's so much talent in these guys that we watch week in and week out that as this product continues to grow, it only helps and strengthens what we bring to the table, which is good, but it also helps us enjoy it, watch it. Like normally I rarely even had the fall swing on because of football. And I did have football on both my main TVs, but I had the golf streaming on my laptop, my tablet in front of me as well, because eyes help me. You're like me. Eyes tell me a lot. I'm a big stat guy. I know way more than you, but I do trust my eyes sometimes, especially in showdown stuff. So I like it as well. I think it's going to be a great tournament. I'm looking forward to it overall. Betting wise, we'll run through this quickly and wrap it up. 40-1 or better. Do you got one or two guys in there that I don't know if I'm not normally a top of the board type of guy. I will take my stances at time, but you got anybody you like there?
I'm betting Bud Cauley. I don't know what the number is. So I might be off not in the proper range that you're looking for, but
no, you're fine.
I like, I haven't had a chance to look at the numbers.
He's 66 on mine. Who else you got?
I'm going to play Burgoon. I'm going to play Siwoo. And then we're going to do a little bit more digging as the week goes on. But I'm going to throw a little flyer on Bronson Burgoon. I'm going to play Siwoo, and I'm going to play Bud Cauley.
Burgoon's 60, Cauley's 66, and Siwoo's 90. So all good values there for sure.
I was 90. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, he may be better on yours. I'm only looking at one book. So Bovada normally has better odds on the higher value. So I definitely check that.
That number's wrong. He should not be 90. Bronson Burgoon is 60.
Short guys, if I have a few I like, it'd be Ryan Moore, Reevy. Morikawa is obviously one that if I don't do DraftKings, I may throw into my card. Mid-range, kind of already mentioned them. I'm kind of regurgitating some of this, but sometimes it mixes up. Griot, English, HV3, Glover, Burgoon. Like you like Burgoon, I did as well. Kind of deeper odds. Some of your guys, Furyk, Ortiz, Tom Hoagie. He played great last week. I don't mind going there. Some value. Kenny Kim's call last week. Tringali looked really good. Hit the ball well. He's 80-1. I think that could be a good price. He's he's top 30, 35% POA splits, top 25 in my overall stat model. I don't mind him at 80 on the number. And then my darts are Redmond. 125-1 is gross. I love that number. I'm all on it. Obviously, Bohoag. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, and I know.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I don't know how I could. I'm like, unless there's like a silent something. I'm like, I practice this now because people light me up on other ones, so I'm trying to be better. But Landry's just
kind of a finale situation.
Exactly. No, that's Bucks. That's not me. That's Bucks.
I know.
Yeah.
You're fine.
As long as Landry's going to continue to be at these odds, 150-1, I could sprinkle on him every tournament at 150-1. He just has that talent that could click at any time. He's proven it on tour. And then the guy I mentioned last in my roundtable, Danny Lee, I don't mind. He has the talent on tour to win. And that's something I think people don't think of enough. They throw a bunch of darts at there, and they really – darts are darts, and you don't think it. But I really had to somehow picture him, okay, if he hits everything, can he win? Especially when we're talking about 125-1. He top 10 here last year when his mindset wasn't great. I do like him. This is his fourth time playing it. He's made the cut every time since 2015. So 125-1 for me. There's no one and done. Obviously, that returns in January. We'll have tons of information on that as we approach the end of fall swing. Any final thoughts for you before I wrap it up?
No, it doesn't feel like a swing season event, but it's gonna be good. So good luck to everybody out there. And thanks again, Go.
Yeah, as always, Tambo and myself will be on Wednesday night. We start at 8 o'clock Eastern time with a quick 30-minute E9. Then we take a pause and we roll the Coin Flip Football podcast at 9 Eastern. Wednesday nights are busy. We do that for about 45, 55 minutes. Try to stay under an hour for sure. Last week was just a stellar pod. We just kept rolling. It went to an hour 9, but then we get off there and kind of lock our lineups and get in slack. Wednesdays are fun. Good night. Thursdays are pretty quiet for us. That's family night around here. Get to finally see my family after 3 days of grinding. There's a new channel in the Slack. I can't remember exactly what I call it. That's probably terrible if we're not to have, but I posted it the other day. And so what we decided, because we did have a massive amount of people wanting to be in the chats, but because of some of the times, especially the football ones, it's called Live Chat Questions. So if you pound Live Chat Questions, you'll get into that channel. And what we'll do is you can post questions throughout the day, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And that way we have a board of questions to get to start the live chats, especially this time of year, because Wednesday nights people are kind of all over. Wednesdays are a little bit better, but especially Saturday nights, because we're starting at 7 o'clock Eastern because we want to get done before the big football games go on, and we have families and we got to build our NFL lineups and all that. 9 o'clock on Saturday night's way too late, and we're not going to do Sunday mornings. It's too crazy. So what we want guys to do, we're going to encourage you guys to throw questions in there you may want answered throughout the day, and we'll start there reading those until we fill up the chat. People come in there and help us out. So that was a suggestion of one of the members, and I think that was great. So we have that channel now. Last, just quick reminder, GC, FFG, 15% off, gupscorner.com. Listen to the pod last night if you want a little bit special offer. That's pretty much it. My final thoughts is have a great week. I'm fired up. We got a lot going on. A week from tonight, I will announce a new couple of new awesome things coming to the site and or company. So looking forward to announcing that next Monday night on the Smash Factor. Until Wednesday, for Josh behind the mic, keeps everything rolling, and Nagels, I will see you Wednesday night. Have a great evening. God bless.
Smash Factor.